Hi, making
Hi,
progress. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, sir?
I'm wonderful. What time is it in India?
It's 11:23 p.m.
11:23 p.m.
Yeah,
Okay. You're about 10 hours, 12 hours ahead of us.
exactly.
I'm in Arkansas, USA.
Your state is?
Arkansas.
Okay, okay. So, firstly, I want to thank you, sir, for accepting my request and accepting to talk with me.
I'm sorry?
Firstly, I want to thank you for accepting my invitation and accepting to talk with me.
Sure. Talk
So,
with you?
yeah,
I have trouble understanding.
yeah, I understood you. I know you. I'm telling you that thank you very much for coming to my show and accepting it immediately.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you inviting.
So I thought to introduce you to my audience and to the world who watches this video from anywhere on this planet.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I appreciate it.
So can you please introduce yourself to the world?
My name is Larry K. Morphew. I am from the state of Arkansas in the United States. I have written my first book. I'm 70 years old, so I'm a late bloomer, late starter, and I hope to write many more. But I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about it and to tell the world a little bit about what my story is about. In fact, there are three stories uh, in this book, which is called Country Folk. We live in the southern part of the United States, which is much warmer than it is, in the northern states like the Dakotas and Wisconsin and Minnesota. It gets very cold up there, and it's been cold here too. But the area that I'm from is very rural. Uh, Country people live here, most for the most part. Um, the stories in my book come from stories that have been passed along my family and 10 siblings. And the oldest of my siblings, I'm 70. The oldest sibling is 92, which puts about 22 years between the first kid and the last kid. My mother was having kids for about 9 years of her life, and they lived in the rural South. It was very poor. They lived through the Depression, which no one had anything. No money, no food, very little food. What you had to raise yourself. But the stories in my book, there's three short stories that are basically about stories that have been passed down to me, being the youngest of the 11, uh, from my brothers and sisters and my mother and people in my family that lived through that. I didn't. I missed it, and in a way, I'm glad I missed it because it was hard. But I don't think those times should be forgotten. Those people were, as I said, they're poor. They didn't have a lot of opportunity. They didn't know about the fine, better things in life because they didn't have it. They had what they had. If you didn't grow it or raise it on your own farm, then you didn't have it. So the stories that have been passed down. The first story in the book is about my aunt. Uh, her name was Sadie. She was really my mother's half sister, and all the stories are about children in that time, growing up in that time. Sadie is the first story that was about my great aunt. She was abused by my grandfather. Um, she was sometimes, and in one particular point that the story is about, she was beaten and then she was sent into the woods. She was stripped naked She was made strip naked, and she was ran off into the woods because her father wouldn't let her come home. The story is about her struggle in the woods and meeting some people who were kind to her. The next story is called The First Frost, which is really about my mother. And, we look forward to Christmas and birthdays and things that we might get these fabulous gifts, and they didn't get them back then. Their gifts that they received at Christmas were generally an apple or an orange and maybe a couple of pieces of hard candy. Well, the best part of the year was not Christmas for those kids. It was the first frost, because in the first frost, they would actually let the child buy a new pair of shoes. They went barefoot. They had no shoes up until it got cold, and then they would buy them a pair of shoes to last through the winter. And that's basically all they lasted, was through the winter. Um, and it's about kindness. I've put a lot of things about the sting of living in my stories. But then there's the kindness, and there's the sweetness, and there's the love and understanding that you find too. The last story is called Tinker, Tut, and Doodobber. Those are all nicknames. The Tinker and the Tut were my brothers. The Doodobber was, his real name was Hoyt, and he lived next door. And it came a flood. The creeks and the rivers were just rolling. So they decided, this was back in the 50s, they decided it would be fun to go down and jump in this raging river and see how fast they could swim downstream. Well, they jumped in the river, and the friend Doodobber almost drowned. So they had to drag him out and revive him. So it's a dangerous journey that these three boys had. One was 10 and the other two were 12. So they were very young boys jumping in this raging river. And luckily they survived. So that's the culmination of the three stories in the short book.
So why this title?
What, man?
Why this title?
What, the title?
Yeah.
Well, I thought of a number of different things for it. And the one that um, describes it the best are just country folk. They're people who live in the country. Uh, they don't have a lot. Their entertainment is self-made. They didn't have the computers and the phones and the TVs and all that back then. They had nothing. So they had to invent their own entertainment. So, and the work was cut out. The kids didn't sit around back then on their cell phone because there weren't any. So they had to get out and do the work, because everybody in those times had to do something to support the family. And they had so many children, you know, there were probably no more than 5 or 6 children in my household at a time. But feeding 5 or 6 children in those times were very difficult. So they had to make do the best they could, and the children had to get out and work. They had to go out and feed the pigs, and milk the cows, and the horses, and chop the wood, and all that. Gather the water, no pumps, so they had to go out to the well and draw a bucket of water and carry it in the house for the cooking or whatever. So it's just country people living a simple life. So I'll use the name country folk.
So what is the response that you got for the book that you published?
Do what now?
What is the response that you got for the book that you have published?
The what for the book?
Yeah, the response.
The response. The response has been okay. I'm new at this. This is my first actual publication. I worked in radio and television broadcasting for years, and I wrote a lot of stories that were either put into uh, productions with stories of, I did children's stories and all kinds. But the uh, writing that I did was mainly in short form. There were like 60-second commercials or 60-second presentations of some sort. Um, so it was different kind of writing. But I've been writing for since I've probably been writing for 50 some odd years. But this is the first time that I decided that okay, I'm 70 years old. One of my things that I want to do before I kick the bucket list before I die is to write a book because I've been writing all my life. Why not write it and keep the memory alive of all these people back then and the struggles they went through and the compassion that they had and the determination they had, the faith that they had. That needs to be remembered.
So, you are into radio broadcasting and TV broadcasting.
Yes, yes, I was in that 40 years.
40 years you was into that.
40 years, yes. Um, I started in broadcasting when I was 19 years old. So it was in 1968 or 69, so a long time ago. But it was a great job. But it got to where that broadcasting was computerized. We would go in and we would sit there and have a microphone in front of us, kind of like this one here, and we would sit there and we would talk a little bit, and then we would talk a little bit more, and we put it all in the computer, and then we would leave. And the computer would make it sound like we were live in the studio for that 4 hours when it took us 10 minutes to do, and then we were gone. So it wasn't really all that creative. So that's when I decided to retire and get out get out of it.
So, 40 years you was into radio and TV broadcasting. You have took a lot of interviews, right?
I have a lot of what?
Interviews.
Oh yes, yes, quite a few. Yeah, this is one of the few times that I have been interviewed. Most of the time I was conducting. I was in your seat and you were in my seat. I would be interviewing all these people. I've interviewed uh, a lot of different musicians, uh, people in Aerosmith and Leonard Skinner and Fleetwood Mac, and country people like George Strait and Reba McEntire. I interviewed all those politicians like Bill Clinton. I've interviewed um, people off the streets. I've interviewed. I've interviewed uh, people who were addicted to drugs and wanted to help other people to get away from it. Um, Lots of different interviews, but right now I'm in a different seat. You're in my seat.
Mhm. Okay, so when you was in my seat, which was your favorite interview?
Did I what now?
When you was in my seat, what was your favorite interview?
What was the what to me? The most
Uh,
best inter- the best interview.
yeah, yeah, the best interview.
There was a country singer by the name of Ronnie Millsap. He's still alive, but he was blind. And I traveled to a town where he was having a concert and watched the concert. Great performance. But we sat down and we talked. And I had people tell me, Ronnie will talk to you just as long as you talk to him. And I had a tape recorder there with a 45-minute tape in it. We didn't have the digital back, but we sat and he was very kind. He was a kind person. But one of his stories that I heard from somebody else was that when he was a child, his mother abandoned him. He was like 2 or 3 years old, and his mother left him with their grandparents. And later she came back. He was 7, I believe. Was the story when she actually came back, and she came back with a new husband and a new daughter. And she put Ronnie the, in the on the couch and told him, Ronnie, this is your little hand. He said, I want you to feel her eye. And he had his hand over her eye. And she said, this is your little sister. She can see. She's not blind like you. And he told him that she was embarrassed by him because he had this uh, disadvantage, physical problem he couldn't see. And he said the best thing he said was that he didn't harbor any anger toward her. He had forgiven her, and he felt at peace about it. But he went on to be very successful, probably much more successful and much more talented than his little sister, who could see. So I really, his interview with me was probably one of the best. I can't say Bill Clinton was, because it was all political, and I enjoy hearing people talk about feelings of the heart, and I think that's where that everybody on the face of the earth have something in common, because we have these emotions. We have the sadness, and we have the joy, and we have the compassion, and we have uh, understanding, and we have feelings that everybody has in common. And I think we need to touch on those feelings, and we can come together a little bit. Um, we're too divided right now, and we need to calm down and feel our heart a little bit and have some compassion toward one another.
So you are into communication. You was into TV broadcasting, and you was into the radio broadcasting.
As in communication, yes, uh, definitely.
Yeah, you was into communication, TV broadcasting and radio broadcasting. That was a communication medium. You was into that,
Yes, yes, I was.
and now you are a writer, and you are communicating with the human beings through your books. You are expressing your viewpoints.
Yes,
You are expressing yourself.
yes, yes. Um, it's all in communication, and all how we're relating to one another. Um, and the writing hopefully will continue, even more so of what I was doing before, because there's information, and there's entertainment, and there's personal growth that comes about through communicating together. The story I'm writing right now on my next book is about the friendship between a uh, black man and a white man, and this was the time setting is around 1938. It was after World War One, but before World War Two. And one of the men had saved the other man's life, and they had become friends for life, extremely close, loved one another like brothers. And I'm thinking that's a good story. That's a good story of how we should be. We should be saving one another instead of drowning one another. So I hope my stories come out with some of that compassion. Yeah.
So, what your life taught you?
What
What your life taught you?
what has my life taught me? My life taught me slow down, uh, to appreciate people, your family. Family is extremely important to me. Many families, when the parent or the patriarch or the matriarch of the family dies, they clash, and they fight over who's going to get what that was left, and all that. And with my siblings, we never had a crossword between us. We have never fought. Uh, we have always cherished our family. We cherished our mother. She was the one that held us together. My father wasn't such a good man, but you know, I always think that there are two things you can learn from a person. One, what to do, Number two, what not to do. My mother taught us a lot about what to do. My father taught us a lot about what not to do.
So what you are teaching now?
What am I teaching?
What you are teaching now?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding you.
You said that your parents taught you what to do and what not to do.
Yes.
So what you are telling?
What am I? Which one am I doing?
No, no, what you are telling now? Because you are a father now.
Yes. Oh, yes. Um, my 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 son is 40 years old. Uh, I had him when I was 30, and I think that at 30 I was finally ready to be a responsible father. Uh, I've made mistakes as a father, but you ask him about my parenting, and I raised him much. It was he and I, his mother and I divorced, so I raised him, and he was a great kid. I mean, great. I told him once, I said, Abram, if you ever get arrested, I will come to the police station and I will bail you out one time. If you get in there a second time, you're on your own. And I told him about that years later. And he said, Dad, you never had to bail me out that first time. He's never been in trouble. He's never been in jail. He's a good kid. Now I'm concentrating my efforts on my grandson, uh, trying to teach him to value the family and the compassion and the understanding and the communication that family should have. We sit on our phone a lot, we're on the computer a lot, but we have to always have our time that we're communicating, we're talking, we're sharing, we're understanding each other, we're giving attention to one another, he to me and I to him. So the thing that I think that I have learned most in life, what's important, it's not it's not the money. So everybody wants to be successful enough to be comfortable, but so many people that have a lot of money, but they don't have happiness. If I have my choice, I'd rather have the happiness, and the money can take care of itself. That's basically what life has taught me.
So 70 years you are on this planet.
I'm sorry.
You 70 years and you are on this planet.
The problem with our communication here is sometimes your picture freezes. I read lips a lot. If I could see your lips moving, I could probably figure out what you're saying. Being in radio for so long and wearing headphones loud has harmed my hearing. I'm
Okay.
deaf in this ear, and this ear is the only one that I can actually hear out of. So I'm sorry that I have so difficulty understanding you. Plus, you have an accent, and I figure you think that I have an accent as well, so you may not be able to understand me any better than I am you. But repeat your last question.
Uh, you you are on this planet 70 years,
70 years, yes.
right? So what world learned from you?
What does the world learn from me?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd have to ask the world, really. Um, I think everybody has people who love and respect you, and there's people who aren't going to like you no matter what you do. You do a great job at what you do, but there's probably people who say, that's not for me. Uh, but you've got people that really love you as well. Uh, Most of the people who really know me, I'm pretty introverted. I stay to myself, but I've always tried to be kind to people. And through the kindness, sometimes people misinterpret that as your weakness. But It's really not. Um, I hope that the world has gotten from me a little bit of understanding of compassion. Uh, hopefully my writing will add to that somewhat. And the world, it's there for the world if the world wants it. You know, the books are out there, our writings are out there, the communication is out there. So a person has to be willing and wanting to receive that, or it doesn't, or they miss it. And you miss a good part of life if you don't have that.
So you are an experienced person.
I'm a what person?
Experienced person.
Expedient. I try to be. Yes.
So what do you think that works to be happy on this planet?
What it takes to be happy. Uh, the right values. Uh, you know, we've seen so many people in the United States in the past few years that have become very angry uh, about everything from Donald Trump to, I'm not getting what I deserve and this that, and the other. Um, I hope that at some point we can get back to finding a peace within ourselves. Uh, I don't want to be angry. I don't want to grow to be an angry old man. I want to be a wise old man. And hopefully I'm headed that direction, though sometimes I take a step backward a time or two, in my life. But, I'd like to see peace in the world. I'd like to see people enjoying their life instead of angry about something about it. You can't really have a good life if you're angry. You've got to have some peace. You cut
Yeah,
out
yeah,
the.
yeah,
All right, good.
yeah. So, so the last part I didn't understood.
Where were we?
The last 1 minute, I didn't understood because the video was frozen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you kind of froze up there for a few minutes there. Um, I think it was talking about the what I hope the world gets this um, finding a way to find peace. Not that I'm a big uh, leader of anything. I'm just an average person that tries to do the best I can do. That tries to find peace in my life, and I hope everybody else finds it, where we can quit arguing and we can quit uh, hating. The hate destroys not only the people you hate, it destroys yourself. So it's a waste of life if all you can do is find the negative, to find the anger. We need to do away with it. The world would be such a nice place. I wrote a song once that called that said, if for 1 minute, for 60 seconds, everyone in the world could get rid of anger, get rid of frustration, and just find peace in their life for 1 minute, the world. And I believe that. I believe if everybody could do it at once, it won't happen, but it's a nice thought. You do a great job, son. You pronounce your name Sai?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll watch some of your
So
videos. I thought they were pronouncing it Sai. So you do a great job, and you're doing a great work. And I truly appreciate your allowing me to come on this program and talk a little bit while you're sitting and I sit in the hot seat.
so at last, do you have anything to say about your books and about your work? Do you want to tell about anything that you do to the people who watches this video?
You mean about my book?
Anything?
Okay. Yes. Um, I have this nice little cup that says "I am country folk." I hope people will buy my book. It's not that expensive. The paperback is a limited printing first edition. So after I'm gone from this earth, it could be worth lots of money. So they need to buy it now. And look for my next book. I haven't titled it yet, but it'll be out before the end of the year.
I'll put the links of your books in the description of this video.
What in the studio?
I'll put the links of your books in the
Yeah.
description of this video.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
People who finds our video on YouTube, they will on YouTube anywhere they can find it, and they can buy your book.
They can. You can get it on Amazon Kindle, or you can go to my website and get the paperback or a PDF version. Website is Larry K Morphew author.com. So they can get on there and they can find it. Yes.
I'll put the website also in the description.
I'm sorry.
I'll put the website also in the description of this video.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Si. I appreciate it. You're very kind, and good luck. I hope you do extremely well. You're doing a great job.
So at last, have you seen any previous videos of mine on YouTube?
Yes. Yes, I have. I have. And as I said, you do a great job. You do a good job of interviewing people. You,
What is your observation? Because I'm doing your job.
that's okay. You can have it. I, I'm getting older, so I wanted to pass it along to younger guys like you.
What is your observation? Me as a communicator talking with different country people.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
What is your observation? I'm talking with different country peoples, and who are speaking different things, and who are into different professions. I did different professions, who works in different parts of the world. So, what is your personal observation? Because you have huge number of experience, right?
Well, would I pass along to them? Is that what you're
No. What is your view on my work?
on your work? Oh, you're great. Your English is good. It's my hearing that's bad. So as far as what you're doing, uh, keep doing it. Do you interview just authors, or do you interview just interesting people?
I do with police, army, and singers, dancers, all professions.
Good,
If you,
good.
yeah,
Yeah, yes. As time goes by, I might have some suggestions for you because I meet some interesting people. So if you would like, when I run across people who are like that, um, I'll pass it along to you, and you might work out something that you can interview them as well. They'd probably enjoy that.
100%. I love to do that.
Okay. Well, I'll pass that along. There's a woman that I've been talking to who was a police officer, and I'm gonna discuss it with her because she had some interesting stories. She really did. She told me about a few things that she was the first woman on the police force, and she was the first woman to do this, and the little towns that have their mafias and things that probably would be interesting. She might be very interesting for you to interview.
So at the end of this video, I'll put a message called "Chatting with Police Officer coming soon."
Okay. All right. Well, Si, thank you very much for talking with me.
Thank you, sir, for giving me your valuable time, and telling me about your experience, and telling me about your books, and telling about a lot of good things which are very useful for a lot of people.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Hope it has been of service to you.
Yeah. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel, on video and audio on my YouTube channel, on social media, on internet, on my podcast, everywhere with your permission?
Sure, you can use anything you want.
Thank you very much, sir. Keep going, keep doing what you love, and be healthy. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Blessings to you.
Bye.